Welcome. We're here with Darcy Gray, from a senior teacher from the Oak Grove School, currently retired. And my name is Jaap Sluiter. I'm the executive director of the Krishnamurti Foundation. And we're trying to make a series on education and bringing out somehow some of the things that Krishnamurti talks about in education that are unusual and also and specific to K, but also somehow some concept that I noticed are being translated into ways that I think we could do, maybe not how it was intended to be said. So that's what we're going to discuss. So there are a few terms that Krishnamurti is using. But I would like to start with, the starting point of this discussion will be, it's a chapter from a book. It's chapter 2 from the book, The Flame of Learning. And we will have broadcasted that episode or that particular recording before we did this recording. So if you want to go back and listen to that particular discussion that Krishnamurti had with teachers at Brockwood Park, believe it's 76. I can give the exact reference also. It's chapter 2 from Flame of Learning, and the recording is Brockwood Park, 11th of September 1976. So I'm first going to ask Darcy to just say a few things about himself.
Yes, I started getting familiar with Krishnamurti when I was 23 years old, and I became very interested in what he had to say, especially about the nature of thought. And so I started writing and inquiring into how I could maybe participate. And I think I first wrote to the foundation in Canada, and they sent me to Ojai. And so I think it was in 1978 that I started with the Oak Grove School. And I participated in all the dialogues here in this room with Krishnamurti, and saw him at lunch, and we had regular dialogues at the school. And so I had a degree in mathematics, and I was inclined to teach mathematics. So eventually I started teaching at the school at a young age of, like, in my early 20s.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Good. So the starting point is the book, The Flame of Learning, chapter 2. In that book, in chapter 1 already, Krishnamurti starts with various, with the challenge, if I am a new teacher here, what are you, and he asks the staff, what are you, tell me what to do as a new teacher, how are you going to instruct me? And one of the things that was discussed in the first chapter was how to establish the right relationship between the teacher and the student, and what it means to not be on the pedestal. I was wondering if you could say a few things about that. What do you think he could have meant?
My experience with it, it's kind of a complex question, because I think Krishnamurti meant by that is pedestal in terms of the psychological, like a person is, I'm better, I know more, I'll teach you how it is, kind of thing. But there's also, in the academics, there's a fact that you might know more than the student does. So the student comes in and they're looking at me for answers, right? So one of the things that I inquired into is, how can the subject be taught, just even academically, without me being the authority? And talking to the children about that. And like for, say, physics, that's a nice subject in the sense that there's facts that happen and data you can take that's independent of the teacher, and you can help the students to glom onto that. But that's just, that's part of the habit for them to look at me for answers.
But if you would open that question up, right? So what would be the problem of being on a pedestal. What's the issue that's being addressed here? Why? Okay, everywhere you have a teacher, student. There's clear distance, professional distance between the student and the teacher. Students are supposed to look up. I mean, so what is the problem that he tries to address by bringing this thing out?
Well, a lot of things come to mind, but to be able to think for oneself, be able to actually figure out what's going on, makes me think. It was one of the reasons I was attracted to Krishnamurti, because at a young age of, like, in my early 20s, the world seemed so in such distress. And all of a sudden I'm reading something that says, well, look at your own thought patterns, examine them, follow the logic of what they lead to. And, you know, in the meantime, everybody else is telling you what life is supposed to be like, how to be, what job you should take, and all of that. But look what's happening.